To call Carmageddon Rogue Shift a disappointment is an understatement. A game bringing a classic franchise to the roguelike space from developers that I already had a fondness for, this should have been a slam dunk. I was all over this from the moment it was announced, and then I actually got my hands on it and... Let's start with the good here. There are moments of fun to be had in almost every race, and these are exciting in isolation. The zombies, even if they are not the pedestrians of the original, interact with the world dynamically. They'll be entranced by streetlights and grope for things hanging from ceilings, which makes for interesting ways to gather them together for mass splats. The cars do look pretty cool, and the weapons, for the most part, are pretty enjoyable to fire, and that, for me, is about it. This is a game desperately lacking personality. There is zero narrative here.
Attention all drivers. This is your 1 minute warning. 1 minute to showtime. Those who are about to die, we salute you.
No cohesive tissue between the overarching game of going from beginning to end and all the races in between. While it's nice to drop straight into a race with little blocks, there is no setup to make you care about anything you're doing. And while maybe sense and logic aren't exactly core traits of Carmageddon, humor absolutely is, and there is none to be found here. Most of your fellow racers have generic, repeated names, you have no rivals in these races, and the bosses too are basic. There are no voice lines or dialogue at all, leaving the soundscape of the game feeling incredibly hollow and empty, even if it is filled with car grumbles and rocket splashes. Bosses in a roguelike need something to make beating them feel worthwhile. This helps keep the continuous runs from feeling monotonous. I couldn't tell you a single one of their names, except for Jetass, but we'll come back to him. Each is introduced with some really cheap feeling cutscenes, completely unmemorable, except for the final boss who is memorable for all the wrong reasons. How do you want to end your vehicular combat game? With a giant land eel, of course. It made me think of Fumes, a game where basic bosses were also forgettable, but the big bads were way cooler. But not as cool as hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Anyway, back to it. Coming back to Jetass, beyond that name, in a game where you specialize in survivability and combat, or you specialize in speed, Jetass can only be beaten by the latter, and is a frustrating run ender if you don't fit into that perfectly shaped box, thus dictating all future car choices as if you choose a pickup truck and Jetass shows up, GGWP. It's design like this that makes the game feel like it's giving the player the illusion of choice, rather than your choices actually mattering. The AI of your opponents themselves is painfully dumb. They will often pile up on certain points of the track. For whatever reason, they won't try and overtake you at times. If you're in first and slam on the brakes, you'd think opponents would fly past you, giving you a chance to shoot them. But no, for whatever reason, they slow down too, and copy you and just stay behind. This leaves being in first place as a complete liability and just boring. If you could shoot your weapons behind yourself, this would make first place less of a drag, but outside of very specific weapons, everything is forward facing, so I guess enjoy blasting random terrain and zombies for the rest of the race. This game does get more frantic and fun in the third zone where races expand to 12-hole races. But they can all repeatedly respawn while you only have one life. Instead of allowing you to whittle down your enemies till only the strongest remain, they just feel like flies that need constantly swatting away only to be replaced by more. They're more irritating than intimidating. The variety of tracks is pretty limited too. In a game where runs are broken into 3 zones, there is no biomes, there is no world cohesion here. You will see the same tracks in Zone 1 as in Zone 3, but you'll probably be doing more laps. Yippee! You'll even see back-to-back repeats in tracks, like when I completed the last race in a zone only to go straight back to that track for the boss battle. Some of the tracks have some theming which is good, like the boat or the airport levels, but then others are just an oval or a circle and they are boring. It's even more frustrating when this limited slate of tracks lack the polish and have these bumps and sharp edges on the sides that you can get caught on and essentially lose the race because of. And then we have the cars, which handle like fish on rollerblades. No customization, no starting weapon or perk choice. Pick a car and get what you're given and be happy with it. Now the beta branch patch does improve the handling, but even now there are moments in races where a slight change in trajectory just turns your steering wheel into unresponsive spaghetti and compounds any minor mistake into a major one. And outside the limited number of tracks, there are only 2 race types, race or survival, and survival is piss easy and shows up maybe once per zone, so why even have race types? There are also elite races too, but that just means you have to finish first to advance instead of the top 3 like in a normal race, which due to the dodginess of the tracks, finishing in first is usually down to luck rather than skill. All of these flaws and faults are compounded by the big picture here. This game is $40. Pounds or euro dollars, it doesn't matter. 40 buckaroos. That is insane for a game that I beat in 4 hours. I feel ripped off and I didn't even have to pay for this game. Thanks 34 Big Things for sending me a copy. At that price you could buy the top 2 roguelikes trending on Steam right now. Or at least 4 of the top 10, or wait until the next Steam sale and you could probably clean house. This is the same price point as Arc Raiders and Helldivers 2, yet it isn't. This game is even more expensive than both of those right now. This barrier to entry for a game which is lacking in so many areas is way too steep. And this is full release. This isn't even an early access project where huge amounts of content is coming down the line. No, you might get some patches to fix what's broken, but this is the complete vision for this game. And the saddest thing about all of this is I know the developers of Rogue Shift are better than this. I've played the Redout games. I know they can make a superb, fun, and fast racing game. Maybe there were time constraints from working with a different IP. I can't think of any other reason why a game that feels half-baked made it out the door. Ultimately, I can't recommend this to anyone unless it has a serious overhaul, which I don't foresee looking at the current plans for this game. It's a shame as after a few attempts from a few different titles, we still don't have a standout driving roguelike. The closest being maybe Maniac, but that's more of a GTA-like, and you can get out of your car. I'm meaning one which is purely driving. Hopefully someone manages to crack this combo and give us something truly unique. But what did you think of Carmageddon Rogue Shift? Do you have a favorite entry in the series? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for hopefully a far more positive adventure into the world of roguelikes. Bye for now.